Separated by cosmic cabinets, Brandon, Paul, and Logan are broadcasting a show that they do once a week called the Breakdown Podcast, using their telepathic powers. My name is Brandon Miracle. If you look south of me in the video version, you'll see the beautiful face of Paul Anderson, broadcasting live from the Break Room Clubhouse. If you look to the right of me in the video version, you'll see the wonderful, expressive, emotive, spoon-filled face of Logan Welliver, broadcasting live from the Break Room bedroom. You were really getting to me with that spoon, and I was just like trying to hold all of this together, and it wasn't quite working out for me.
I know, it's
really. I was just jealous of the spoon.
Okay, guys. Okay, I get the idea. I'll hold back. Okay, I'll hold back.
We appreciate it.
You need me to take a step back and just make sure that I don't get too much out there. All right.
Hi to you, Dream Drop, in the chat. Good to see you here. What's Logan eating anyway? That's gotta taste good at least.
Peanut butter!
You can never go wrong with peanut butter. Unless you're allergic to peanuts, then that's probably wrong.
Or if you're eating chunky, then you're wrong.
Yes.
That's what I was eating.
You don't like chunky peanut butter, but you like pulp in your orange juice. I don't understand.
We might be divided on the topic of the Splatfest.
I had a long discussion with Josiah about this.
I actually genuinely liked his argument. I don't actually like orange juice at all, but I really felt his argument.
I like the way he framed it too. But I'm glad that you don't like chunky peanut butter, because we legitimately probably couldn't be friends.
I love chunky peanut butter.
I hate both of you. I'm going to eject both of you from the call now. Dream Drops Team Pulp.
I'm a neutral on the peanut butter thing.
Okay.
I like chunky on my sandwiches and creamy just to eat.
These are the real conversations.
And creamy just to eat. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I don't hate chunky peanut butter, but I'll eat it sometimes. But I largely prefer creamy peanut butter.
That's fair. It's all about context.
Yeah. So this is the 19th episode of the Breakdown Podcast, recorded live on June 22nd, 2018. We got a lot to talk about today. Lots of Nintendo news just the week after E3. Just little bits of this and that everywhere, all over the place. Reggie's got some comments about the future of certain games, as well as the future of the 3DS. We're going to talk more about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because there's no way that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
However...
Wait, what's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
Logan, we're gonna go watch the Nintendo Direct after this is over.
It's like you're telling me that Smash Brothers is coming to Nintendo Switch. We all know it's not happening. It's not gonna happen.
It's insane.
So, for those of you who were on the internet during the era of Melee and Brawl, Mr. Sakurai has fun posting little updates every day on his titles on those websites, and he's doing it again for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It feels kind of good, because like Smash 4, he did the Miiverse pick of the day, which arguably was just as good as the dojo with less information, and he's doing that again, except now it's not limited to one post a day. Sometimes we get upwards of 3 updates in one day, which is pretty amazing. So the reason I bring that up is because every Friday, starting next week, we'll be on a new show, which we'll talk about later. We will discuss all of the post updates on the Smash blog for that week. That helps us focus our Super Smash Bros. Discussion and constantly be talking about it in the next 6 months up to the game's release. So that should be a lot of fun.
We're not going to have a problem talking about it constantly, though.
No. The reason I'm enacting this is so that we don't over-talk about Smash Bros.
That's fair.
We'll talk about specific characters, specific items, and then we can move on. So actually, why don't we just start with that right away? So I'm going to load the website here.
I mean, it was the first on the list, so we should start with that.
I'm already on it. You guys are behind.
What was the first day of this week? The 18th was the first post of the week?
Yeah, so we're going to start with the 18th?
Yeah, we're going to ignore last week, because that'd be too much. So first post of this week was Mario's fighter blog. It says, Mario is an all-around fighter who uses his wide variety of techniques to respond to any situation. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, he shows up in his wedding tux and his builder outfit, and Cappy even makes an appearance.
I missed the wedding tux.
They actually showed that before the builder outfit in the Direct. Back to back.
Yeah.
I pay attention.
It's not like a ton of information, right? But they have like that little blurb about it, and then they have like a short 22-second video, you know, kind of showcasing, hey, this is what Mario's like in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And, it's really digestible.
On top of that, as far as the videos are concerned, all 65 of them are already available on the YouTube channel.
So they're just reposting them here, is what you're saying.
But this gives us a chance to talk a little bit about Mario. For those of you who play Smash Brothers, you know he's about as vanilla as you can get when it comes to a fighter. What do you got, Paul?
Can we talk about how amazing like the cape animation is?
Yeah, they really updated that
animation.
It feels like before it just like come out of his arm, but it actually feels like he's reaching behind him and actually like using a cape that he has on his person.
Yeah, it actually like shows up connected to his neck, whereas before, like you said, he would just like whip it out with his arm, not really connected to anything. So it actually echoes Super Mario World a lot better than it used to.
Every time I've seen it though, like every time I've seen him use that move, it always like makes me stop and just appreciate how much better the animation is for it.
So, I mean, as far as Mario is concerned, better animations is really all he's got going for him in this update.
Whoa. He's got 2 costumes, bro. That's significant.
2 costumes? Not including his vanilla costume? That would make 3 costumes, Paul.
How much suitcase space do you think he has for all these costumes, Logan?
Probably enough. He's Mario. I mean, he's friends with a princess. I'm not. She's probably got Mario.
Have you seen the airplane they fly in Sunshine? I doubt they have that much room.
Oh, well, they have enough, man. They got enough, you know?
So, some of the other stuff I want to talk about with Mario, his visual design as compared to Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, does seem to have quite a bit of an update. It actually echoes Melee a little bit with how much detail you can see in his overalls. And now that even goes into his hat and his gloves and his shirt. There's a lot of texture on Mario that I really appreciate. Last week, Nintendo Snow was saying that that was something that he really liked, because Brawl, as we all know, had that kind of grittier, more dark, I guess, realistic look that it was going for, and I don't think that quite worked. But this is a nice middle ground. Like, they're going for the bright colors from Smash 4. The characters appear as they should, but the texture's also there, so it looks really nice.
This game looks good.
It does look good. The only other updates to Mario, like you said, Paul, are the costumes. Other than that, he's just Mario. Final Smash is the same. Everything else is the same.
Just a few cosmetic touch-ups. The Cappy appearance, you know.
Oh, I do want to note one thing. I noticed that his mustache blows in the wind now a little bit.
Oh, wow.
I just thought that was kind of cool. That's a cool level of detail for Smash Brothers, because I want to say his mustache is usually just static. So I thought that was cool.
I'd also, I know I'm probably going to just reveal my hand at just how little I paid attention to the Direct, but he drops down on like an Odyssey-looking stage.
Yeah, the Odyssey stage has been revealed already.
There was so much information in that presentation, it was hard to like grasp it all. So certain things did get missed.
Odyssey is one of
I pay attention.
Is one of only 3 new stages that is in Smash Ultimate as of right now, including the 2 that were officially revealed, being Moray Towers and the Great Plateau Tower. So they showed this one in the Direct. They just decided not to talk about it for whatever reason. My guess is they're going to update us about it, and that's when they'll launch the stages page on the website, which is currently not live.
Even though they've talked about a handful of stages, haven't they?
They've talked about 85 stages. Or they've shown us 85 stages.
Even like in the update, right? So they talked about Battlefield, right? But
they have, yeah.
It's okay. They'll talk more about it when they release or when they announce DLC for Odyssey.
There you go. Not bad. Dreamdrop says he looks specifically Melee. His face has that very old school styled round version rather than the more modern and streamlined thing. He's very contour and it's clean. Yes, he looks very good. I don't like necessarily the way that his standard costume reflects light. That was really kind of weird looking to me at first, but I'm going to guess that won't be an issue going forward. Speaking of stages, today's stage is Battlefield on the 18th. So,
On the 18th.
this stage is sporting a redesigned look with vast natural vistas forming a stunning backdrop behind floating platforms. This stage truly deserves its name. Yeah, it looks nice. Still Battlefield.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm going to say about that is it's going to be bad for tournaments because of all that running water is going to make all contestants have to pee.
Oh my god.
One thing I really like about... go ahead, Logan.
No, I feel like it has even more space than like the last Battlefield. I mean, it carries over some of the visual elements, especially some of these colors and stuff.
Yeah, the last three Battlefields have been very similar in that regard.
Right. But I remember there being stuff a little bit closer up in the background on the other one.
Yeah.
So this one just feels very, very like spacious. I mean, they always have. Obviously, it's just a platform, but this one even more so. And honestly, I think I like it too because some of these like floating islands in the background feel really remnant of Skies of Arcadia, and so that just kind of tickles a bone, right?
Yeah, for sure. And they also look like they could be their own Smash Battlefields.
Right. So I really like what's going on here. They got like two different angles. They have the head-on shot and then the one from the side. And yeah, it looks really nice, and I can't wait. I can't wait for any of this. I can't wait. Can we just? Is it December yet?
It
should just be December.
Is it?
Speaking of the backgrounds, that's one thing that really stands out to me with Smash Ultimate is the stage backgrounds are stunning. They're actually stunning. Specifically Peach's castle sticks out to me with just how beautiful that background is for that stage. Now, sure, it's a Melee stage this is its first redesign since its initial appearance 17 years ago. But the updates show, and it's really nice. It might even be distracting to some competitive players if they're not used to it.
And it'll make them pee.
Nintendo says, I'm hoping that the competitive gameplay doesn't take over as the main focus of the game. I mean, what if Ultimate was to competitive as Brawl was to casual? I'm sure that won't be the case, though. There will always be Melee. I don't think there will ever be a game that is Melee again. So I think Smash Ultimate
should be.
No, Smash Ultimate's going to sit nicely in the middle of competitive and casual. There's always going to be that huge competitive focus, but the biggest secret with Smash Brothers is that casual is always bigger than the competitive market. The competitive market is just the loudest part of the fan base. You're never outnumbered on that side.
Though that being said, it does sound and look like Sakurai made certain concessions towards that crowd.
Yeah.
Which I can't say is a bad thing. I really like what's happening with the game. I like that it's a little faster. I like that it echoes Melee a little bit more. And I like that we have all this content in it.
The thing about that is, no matter how many competitive concessions they make to the game, you can still play it as casually as you want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Melee released as a party game. And obviously it evolved into something much more. But that's not to say that you can't play it however you want to. That's the beauty of Smash Bros. Speaking of playing however you want to, today's item from June 18th is the Black Hole. Pulls fighters and items into its powerful gravity field. If someone throws a black hole in your direction, you'd better keep your distance. And it's funny that they have Palutena in the picture here because this is actually just her final smash.
Is it?
Yeah. Palutena's final smash creates a black hole. It traps characters in it much to the way this item does, but then she fires a beam at them. The sad part about that is it's still her final smash.
Oh, so they haven't changed it.
But the item's here too.
Fine.
We do have to stop on this on this post a little bit longer too, just to mention that we believe that this is the first glimpse we have of Smash Ultimate's Final Destination stage.
Is that one of the pictures? Oh
yeah. There's two screenshots with Fox holding it, and we believe this is our first glimpse at Final Destination. And I mean, we don't have a lot to go on, but I have a feeling This is gonna be a really, really nice backdrop to it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with these pictures, is that these don't match any other stages in the game, but it appears to be flat from the small perspective that we have. So that looks like Battlefield, and if it is Battlefield, it might be one of the coolest Battlefields Final Destinations we've ever gotten.
I honestly think, like, just from the little bit that we can see of it, that's going to be one of the cooler versions of it.
Yeah, it
like,
almost
it's
has
got a very, like, dark... I don't even know.
It also has, like, kind of an alien look to it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of a space station. So I think that's pretty cool. So obviously we'll update you on that as we learn more. There's a good chance that's just Final Destination.
I'm okay with that.
So this item also draws in other items into its black hole, as well as characters. What do you guys think of that? Is it cool? Do you like it?
I'm kind of indifferent towards it.
It reminds me of, was it like a Galaga item? That, like, the little UFO that spins around, like, picks players up and then... It kind of reminds me of that, but to a lesser degree. It's an alright addition to it. It's not like a groundbreaking, game-changing item, but
yeah, and I guess it really comes down to like how it feels, you know, because like something like that sounds like it could be interesting, but it just depends like on how it plays out. Especially emphasizing the party game aspect of the Smash Bros. Series. Like, is it gonna be fun to throw at your friends? You know,
that's what really matters at the end of the day.
That's inconclusive right now because I have to play the game.
For sure.
So
I was telling my coworker today even that, like, if he wants to challenge me, he's going down. And I told him that, like, we could play with items on for him, but chances are it would only make his defeat worse.
That I have a story to tell because of that now. Paul, you know, I was big into the competitive scene during the Brawl era, which is a funny game to do that with, but still.
Yeah.
There was a pretty active and healthy scene in our area, or my area, when Brawl came out, and I was at tournaments all the time. We held them at our local library, and, you know, the scene, we were a tight-knit community. Like, I really felt the sense of camaraderie that these competitive players feel, so that was cool. But one of the first tournaments I went to, I was in pools, so I was making my way through pools. The way they had it set up is there was a season of 8 tournaments, and the winner of each tournament would then be seeded into the grand finals tournament at the end of the season. So I showed up to my first tournament. By the way, I won. I made it to grand finals. But there was one round. We had a gentleman's rule. A person could come up to you and change a rule if they wanted, and if you agreed to it, you know, it was fine. One of my combatants came up to me right before our match started, and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, let's play with items." And I thought about it for a second. And I don't usually play with items, but you know what? Fine, we'll do it anyway. And I said this at a tournament of all places. I absolutely obliterated him.
There is a strategy to items. There's a strategy to playing with items, and I when you're playing against people that aren't familiar with them, or, you know, it's easy to get taken advantage of as soon as the items start dropping.
I remember it too pretty well. I was playing as Lucas. I don't remember who he was playing as, but I think we were on Dreamland, and there was a few seconds left, and I had knocked him off the stage, but not quite enough to kill him. A super mushroom spawned right in front of me, so I picked it up, got swole, jumped off the stage, and did that Lucas forward air and just kicked him right off the edge. And he was already, like, this close to the blast zone, so I just, like, snuck in that last extra point that made it so much sweeter.
Did him dirty.
He did not seem pleased after that match was over.
He stopped requesting people to play with items.
I mean, he asked me, and I was like, all right, sure.
You know, but here's the thing. A lot of the times, you know, items can be balancing because, you know, it's just like an extra element just thrown in there. And, you know, if you get a good throw with a good weapon on someone, even who's better, it's harder to dodge that kind of thing. It's harder to deal with that kind of thing than just like, oh, I'm anticipating, this attack set from this character. But yeah, there's value in both, right?
Yeah.
Going further into the item pool, let me mention Dream Drop real quick. He says, speaking of Final Destination, I'm pretty excited to see how they handle Master Hand this round in Classic mode. We had Master Core with the different forms in Smash 4, and it was scary. What now? I'd like to see them introduce another pillar to the Master Hand series of bad guys. We've had Master Hand, Crazy Hand, Master Core, Master Fortress. I kind of consider Taboo in that too as well, since he controlled Master Hand in Brawl. I don't know. I'd just like to see another one. Maybe Master Foot.
Master Boot.
Master Boot.
I'm actually I want them to explore more about the nature of the Smash Ball, the Smash Core, right?
Yeah,
So
we
they
learned
explored that
in Smash 4 we learn that at the core of Master Hand is the Master Core, and the Master Core is actually the Smash Brothers symbol. Like, that's what it looks like on the inside. So that gave us a little bit of insight into what the Smash symbol really means as far as the lore of the series goes. That was kind of a neat nod.
It's the power source.
It finally gave us a reason to like it, I guess, other than it just being the Smash symbol.
So I wonder if they'll expand upon that at all in this.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe. So I do wonder greatly what the single player offerings are going to be for this game. And I guess we'll just figure out in time, right?
I want to. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say, I'm actually on the other end of the spectrum on this. I kind of want them to get back to basics and just do like Master Hand, Crazy Hand again, and just let that be like the top level.
I mean, Master Core was pretty tough.
Granted, it's the game of like everybody's back, so it'd be kind of weird to like
backpedal,
sweep Taboo and Master Core and all that under the rug, but.
Real quick, Moose Man says, "Yo, I'm here now. Just want to say live, good on you, bottom screen guy, for getting cool posters. Now the top right guy needs more posters. Get more posters, top right dude." He's talking to you, Logan.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
I got a few, but chances are you're not going to see like a ton outside of what's happening here unless I, change my setup a little bit more. So you get to deal with my bed frame and my door and whatever shows up here. I do have some, so I have a speaker set up here, but there's Bob's Burgers and a Super Nintendo poster.
Quickly, Dream Drop says maybe they could expand upon it in a cough story mode. Yeah, I'd be down for that. Nintendo Snow says Master Hand to Crazy Hand to Master Core to Master Singularity to Master Atom to Master Quark. I like that.
So just to bring it all together, yeah. June 19th. I remember what month we're in. What? Today's music, you can listen to Bomb Rush Blush on the official Super Smash Bros. Ultimate website.
I did, and it's good.
Bomb Rush Blush.
So that's there. Go to the website, smashbros.com, and you can check that out.
Music is silently, it's secretly the best page on the website right now.
Oh, yeah. To follow that up, though, we have the item, which is the assist trophy, and on this day they were highlighting Bomberman. Bomberman is a brand new assist trophy, which means he's here to help you during battle. The bombs he leaves on the stage detonate in his iconic cross-shaped pattern.
Given Bomberman's history, I think being an assist trophy probably suits the moveset we know him as already pretty well.
Yeah. They'd have to take a lot of liberties in order to like make a full moveset around him. So I think assist trophy is the right way to go with him.
Yeah. Plus, you don't want to like encourage Konami too much.
Saikin Doreska? Doreska? I don't know what Saikin means. Yeah, I mean, Konami's already got a rep with Solid Snake, and quite honestly, I'm very happy with that as it is.
Yeah.
Moose Man says we need Bomberman hero music in Smash, please. I'm sure they'll probably drop a track in there if he's got an assist trophy. Smash is always known for its extensively large, like, music libraries. I think Brawl had over 250 tracks in it, and Smash 4 had, like, some crazy number. Moving forward, on June 20th, today's fighter is Link. Link has seen quite a few changes, actually. Link has been redesigned to match his appearance in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. He can now pick up arrows he's fired, and his bombs have been upgraded to remote bombs, so you can set them off when the timing is just right.
I'm going to have a lot of fun with those.
And he looks really cool. He looks like a real cool dude. It's like, I really want to be like...
He's also got that cool new Final Smash.
December comes around.
The Ancient Arrow Final Smash.
Oh, yeah. It reminds me of Zelda's classic Final Smash.
Yeah, except hers, I think, was usually like an insta-death. I'm sure this one probably is too, but I like the way this one looks more.
Yeah, it's definitely way more dynamic.
So the remote bombs are cool. That's actually a pretty big mix-up for Link's moveset. Because bombs are like his #1 zoning maneuver, because you can do them in all 4 directions. Now that you can just plant them on the field and blow them up whenever you want, I don't know, it's going to change it up. And as far as I know, you can't blow them up when an opponent is carrying it.
What I want to know is, can you bring multiple out at once?
I think it's just one. I think it's down B to pull one out, and then down B to detonate.
Down B
to detonate.
Well, that's the trade-off, right? So you can have control whenever you blow it up. The trade-off is you can't have more than one out at a time.
That being said, I think it does have a time limit on the stage, much like a regular bomb does, but I think it's longer than they used to be.
Right.
And the range of the explosion is much bigger, so that's also going to play a part in how this affects his moveset.
Yeah.
There's also the ability to pick up fallen arrows and then knock them again, or throw them. I thought that was really cool. Like, I wouldn't have thought of that for an addition to his moveset.
That's pretty cool, actually. I wonder if, like, other Links can do that.
Probably not.
I feel like that is just kind of central to Breath of the Wild's design. They're like, oh, he can do this in Breath of the Wild, so let's let him do it with his moveset.
I mean, it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, but that's one of the reasons. Their arrows.
Like, say Toon Link fires an arrow and he picks that up and uses it. Like, that'd be kind of cool.
But at the same time, like, okay, so there's a reason they brought back Young Link. You know, because all of a sudden Link is now so much different. Okay, just bring the faster, quicker Link, right? That is essentially the same as the old Link, just smaller and quicker.
Yeah, they're fulfilling a need now with Young Link. So it's for the first time, having 3 Links is actually a cool idea.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of variety here. And the changes don't stop there for Link at the arrows as well. He also, at full health, he has the ability to use Sword Beam with his smash attacks, which is pretty neat. Don't know, like, how useful it's going to be, because you're only going to have it for, like, 5% of a match.
Right.
And
you're going to pop in and get hit right away, and it's not even get one off.
They also changed his boomerang. This is something I wanted to bring up. It's no longer the Gale boomerang from Twilight Princess. This is the classical boomerang. But 2 things. It has massive range. Like, I believe it can go all the way across Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And you can charge it.
Ooh.
So they really did mix up Link quite a bit. I love that. Ooh.
Gale boomerang, gone but never forgotten.
Oh, and there's one more change, actually.
Oh.
He no longer has a hook shot. His grabs are point blank now.
Oh, cool. I'm actually into that.
Yeah, no more tether grabbing the stage, though. Rip recovery.
It's like Soul Calibur 2 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Link grabbed in that game, too. No hook shot for him.
I mean, like, I know, like, way too often I'd miss the grab, and then he'd punish me for it.
Oh, yeah, because there's a lot of lag on it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that's changed. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and it further
for recovery, but
and it further mixes up the 3 Links from one another. So the more variety, the better. I was like, before this was revealed, I was in the camp that Breath of the Wild Link, or Champion Link, could be his own character. But I think the changes they've made and the fact that young Link is here has satisfied like all of those feelings for me.
Yeah.
And we did mention that Moose Man. That was the first thing we mentioned, I think. Or no, remote bombs, then arrows. So yeah, and then Link also has his, spoiler alert, Tunic of the Wild is also available as a costume. I'm surprised that Sakurai would have just put that right in there, because the way you get that requires you to do a lot in Breath of the Wild.
At this point, if you don't know about it, if you haven't done it all, like...
It's been over a year, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well over a year.
So if you don't have that...
Breath of the Wild's been out that long.
Well over a year?
Now we're getting Super Smash Bros.
So for our last update, as far as I can tell, was for yesterday, so nothing for today. Ice Climbers. Yeah, that could change.
To the weekend, I guess.
So back in the battle after a 10-year absence, there are 2 of them, so does that make them twice as strong as other fighters? Well, Ice Climbers has also seen an extensive amount of changes in the way they play. In fact, it is very different. A lot of you in the chat, and I don't know if you guys are you familiar with wobbling?
I'm sure you used it on me multiple times.
Wobbling is when one ice climber grabs an opponent and starts pummeling them.
Yeah, I do remember this.
And as soon as that ice climber lets go, the other one catches him and starts pummeling, and it's an endless loop, 0 to death.
Yep, you did use that on me a lot.
It's impossible. Nana is unusable when the ice climbers are grabbing now. So when Popo's grabbing, Nana doesn't do anything anymore. You can't even move her as far as we know.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it fixes that problem. I do think it might take it to a slight extreme. Like, if it were me, I would have said I would have like added some kind of grab invulnerability so that you can't wobble at all. But to not be able to move Nana at all is kind of, I don't know, it feels counterintuitive, or not like what the character represents or has up until now. So not sure how I feel about that. The fact that wobbling's gone though, great. That's fine. That's good. Other than that, you know, like the down B, you know, the ice breath thing that they had, which would go in 2 directions, they now just both do it in 1 direction. So there's that. Outside of that, they're just same old ice climbers.
Ice climbers are finally back. Welcome back.
Nana just smiles and watches you beat up others. Yeah, she's just happy. She also just stands there scared if Popo's being grabbed, so you can't use her to get out of grabs either.
I mean, if you wear the other costume, then it's all inversed.
Then it's all Popo's fault.
Yep.
Because Nana will be in the fray.
Yeah, but it's kind of adorable.
It is adorable. Mm-hmm. The animations are cute. Ice Climbers look good in HD. Keep in mind, we haven't seen them in a Smash game since 2008. It's been a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So happy to have them back. Everyone's back, by the way, in case you didn't know.
Everyone?
Everyone is
Smash
here.
Smash Brothers coming to Nintendo Switch. What?
We've only been talking about it for like 30 minutes.
Doesn't mean it's real. I thought we were speculating.
It's not real. So
that's all the Smash blog updates for now. There might be a couple more before the day's over, so we'll talk about those next week. So we'll get into the rest of the news. And turns out we're going to talk about Smash Brothers again.
I was waiting for you to realize.
So Sakurai released a column in, well, it's his weekly Famitsu column, but he used it to talk about Super Smash Brothers Ultimate this time. And he says a couple things that I thought were pretty interesting, specifically mentioning the overall speed of the game is increased, which we already all figured out.
Yeah.
There was a couple things. Paul, do you remember? I know there was like a specific thing or two that I wanted to mention.
The thing that stuck out to me the most with this whole article was him talking about like characters and how you start with the original N64 roster and how you unlock them, which something I believe we knew, but he goes into kind of detail, not super great detail, like we still don't know how we're going to unlock them, but he mentioned
buying cars.
Take racing games, for example. Rather than allow players to use any car from the beginning, I feel it's more enjoyable from a gaming perspective to have players earn winnings from races and purchase new models that way. Trying to just skim and see if there's anything.
I like that they're doing this.
He also mentions there will be multiple means to unlocking characters.
Which I'm also okay with that too.
Yeah, I just like unlocking things, right? Like this last few games, like here's everything and here's 2 things to unlock, and then Sakurai's like, I'm gonna give you these characters and you gotta unlock the rest. And I go, I see you. I'm excited about this.
The thing that I wanted him to change with unlocking is actually kind of in the line with what he was saying with racing games, where you earn money and you buy what models you want. So in this case, you earn points or whatever currency wants to come up with for Smash Brothers from fighting, or from doing classic mode or any other mode, and then you could maybe go to a shop and pay to unlock Ridley or pay to unlock Split or Inkling, and that way you actually have a bit of choice.
I mean, Melee through Smash 4 all had an in-game currency that you earned through playing. You earned Smash coins, and they were usually used to buy trophies, so they could also unlock characters. That would be neat.
Right. I'd be down with that.
Some people are mentioning, if they do have a story mode, to unlock the characters as they appear in the story mode, like you did in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I actually didn't like that, personally. I missed how I would just get a new character occasionally when I wasn't expecting it in Melee, and unlocking them just as I went through Brawl. By the time I finished the story mode, I didn't feel compelled to do any other single player content because I did everything already, or I had everyone. My only motivation was to unlock those trophies, and yes, I did. Actually, I did it anyway. 100% in Brawl. Actually, I spent a lot of time in that game. But that being said, I don't know. I like the prospect of unlocking characters, so him talking about this so extensively is exciting to me. I kind of missed that in Brawl, and then in Smash 4 on Wii U, you started with the majority of the roster, and you unlocked some really weird characters, like Ganondorf, I think you had to unlock, and Mr. Game & Watch, and I'm like, why are you unlocking veterans? You should be unlocking newcomers.
Yeah.
So... Mooseman says, I have an idea. Have it come with an amiibo card that'll unlock all the characters early for a few matches, so it's inconvenient, but I can have my Smash Party night when it releases. I guess that's one way if you want to spend more money and just have all the characters right away.
I mean, you'd be set. I mean, you have every amiibo ever made, right?
Yes. Not all of them, but I have a lot. So yeah, that's cool. One other thing I want to mention with Sakurai is he mentioned the story of telling his team that he wanted to include every character ever.
Yeah.
And he was met with complete deadpan silence. That's just a great developer story, and he pulled it off. It's here. So that's kind of awesome. Moving on. There's a lot here, guys. Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé knows that fans want Animal Crossing and Mother 3. That's really all there is to it.
Dad knows. It's happening.
I mean, but
there actually was an important part of this story that was later posted after the fact when I was going through. He doesn't say if Animal Crossing, but when there's an Animal Crossing game.
But wasn't the assumption that when Animal Crossing was just the way it was? It was for me, at least.
Yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing's coming sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, you look at the sales of each of the last games, and you look at the potential that it has on the Switch. Maybe Animal Crossing is a game that they like to wait for a minute until the install base has grown, because that's when it does the best, right? When there's already a ton of people already playing it, as opposed to put Breath of the Wild on there, they're gonna pay $300 to play Breath of the Wild.
For a lot of people, I think it just comes down to the fact that Reggie's acknowledging it. Hey, these games weren't at E3, but we know you want them. Right. That's an important step as a CEO, I think, or a COO in this case.
Right.
So, yes, they're probably coming. We just have to wait it out. the way that direct was structured, Smash had such a commanding presence. If you had put games like Animal Crossing and whatnot in there, I don't think that they would have had that much fanfare, because Smash was just in your face.
Yeah, even some of the larger announcements kind of like nobody paid attention to them, right? They had enough where people were kind of like fended off, like, oh, they only had Smash because we had Fire Emblem. But even though you think like back on what they announced about Fire Emblem, and it was very little, they were like, hey guys, it still exists. We'll talk about it more in a few months here because it's coming out next year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Reggie also mentioned that they like to announce games that are within 6 to 9 months of release. Obviously, they didn't do it for Metroid Prime 4. We know why they didn't do it for Metroid Prime 4. The same thing with Fire Emblem. They announced a mobile game. If they hadn't announced it was coming to Switch, it would have been a garbage fire. So Nintendo knows exactly what they're doing with the way they announce their games. If they announced Animal Crossing and it was a year and a half away, it wouldn't have been good. Of course, we'd be happy, but man, that wait would be awful.
So next year, I guess.
I'll keep hoping. Smash is this year, so Animal Crossing.
How many directs between now and then anyway? Like it'll get announced eventually. We'll know about it when the time is right.
I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, Paul, if we get that announced like during December. Like, I was in the camp that that's not even a game you show at E3. And, of course, they didn't. I wanted it, but they didn't.
We live in a very magical world where, like, we don't have to wait once a year to get these, like, super big game announcements from Nintendo. Like, they announced Smash Brothers in March. Because why not?
Mm-hmm. They did it to drum up hype for, June. And they also did it because they had to have something big in that direct. They're like, We've got this. We're sitting on it. Let's tease it, not show anything, and then, blow it out at E3. If they hadn't told us that in March, that direct would have been disappointing, and then the June E3 presentation would have been mind-blowing.
I think this is part of, like, Nintendo's cycle, where, like, they have a couple of, like, presentations that you might consider disappointing to kind of lower them expectations back down, just so they can shatter them out of the water with
here's a direct mini, and then in like 4 weeks we're going to announce Smash Brothers.
Exactly.
So they're playing the game that they've been playing for like 4 or 5 years. Like, if you expect a ton at E3, I don't really think that's the place anymore, because they sprinkle announcements all throughout the year, keep people excited all the time. And I think that's working out for them. So I honestly think that the other companies are starting to kind of go with that trend themselves.
Square Enix.
Square Enix. Well, I was thinking more Sony, because Sony does their end of year like PlayStation experience where they talk about games, and it might as well be an E3 presentation. So they're doing it like twice a year. You got Nintendo doing it like 8 times a year. If you put all of the announcements they could put in a single E3 and then sprinkle them all throughout the year, that's what's going on. So if they didn't do that and did it all at E3 would be nutty, and then we'd wait an entire year on nothing.
Yeah, I think, like, for people who are disappointed walking away from Nintendo's conference, like, just know, between probably now and, like, the end of the year, we're going to see 1 or 2 new games for next year. Like, right now, there's not a whole lot on the horizon. All of it's kind of, like, that now to December.
And,
I mean, Fire Emblem, and that's all I can really think of offhand for 2019.
Oh, Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon.
I'm assuming those are later in the year, but like
they
that
are.
Early, like,
for sure,
winter to like summer.
That first 6-month period.
Fire Emblem.
That's what they do during. That's what they do during that holiday direct that we kept talking about at the beginning of the year. It's kind of crazy to me that we're already halfway through the year. I remember very, very closely, talking to you guys about that direct that we knew was coming, but Nintendo wasn't saying a word. So moving on from that, Switch hacking has been in the news a lot lately.
Stop hacking your Switches, guys. Well, at least when it comes to the online stuff.
I don't want to say don't hack.
Don't take it
Do
online.
Do it respectfully. If you want to enhance your single player experience, by all means. If you're ruining the online experience for everyone, no.
Like,
No.
I was upset with the whole Splatoon 2, like the unreleased stage, and then forcing an enemy team into a mode that they weren't playing.
That wasn't cool.
It's not the most awful thing in the world, because that's coming.
Today's news was the awful thing.
This was what I was worried about. And that's that Switch hackers have managed to change their Switch avatars, their user icons, to whatever they want. And they're using that opportunity to make them lewd and inappropriate. And then they're planting balloons in Super Mario Odyssey so that, the unsuspecting child, or the unsuspecting just gamer in general, will stumble across that. And there's something they didn't want to see on that balloon in the game. And that really messes with Nintendo, too, because there's going to be your average user who's just thinking, oh, man, Nintendo's allowing this in their games, ban Nintendo. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. This kind of hacking is really frustrating for me, because I remember the Nintendo DS days, and our friend Johan, he played Mario Kart DS online, like, religiously, and he recounts just how awful the online experience for that game became, because the hacking just got way out of control. It actually ruined the online community for Mario Kart DS. And we see that happening to Splatoon 2 already, and these hacks are becoming more common and more available to people. It's just going to get worse unless Nintendo can do something about it. And the exploit that they're using is on the hardware side. They can't fix it. So it's actually only going to get worse until there's a hardware revision. This is bad.
Hopefully soon. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm upset, and I think it's actually just going to keep getting worse for a while until, Nintendo releases a new version of the Switch. That's not going to prevent those old Switches from being out there. It's just ridiculous. Jordan Thompson says, "This is scary, no more hackers." Oh, and hi. Hello.
Hey.
It's like we said, we don't have a problem with the hacking itself. It's the way it's being utilized that's frustrating.
Yeah.
It takes one person to ruin it for everybody. I remember the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga remake. One of the review copies, one of the reviewers leaked the ROM on the internet, and then Nintendo freaked out, revoked, ambassadorship from a bunch of YouTubers, and stricken made it harder to get into their program. This is what happens when you mess with them. So please don't. It's gonna get bad.
Play nice. Don't do stupid things. And I know everybody doesn't have the same standard of what's stupid and what stupid is or isn't. But just think about other people and think about how you're not being a very nice person, and we don't really like that. So you should just stop.
I mean, like I said, the line is when you're interfering with other people's online experience. Like, if you want to do you in your own time, do it, offline, single player, or like local multiplayer or private, whatever. But as soon as you start interfering with other people's experience, then you're a jerk.
Yeah, you're actively ruining a customer who paid just as much money as you for their system. You're ruining their experience. And specifically, the lewdness in Super Mario Odyssey. Grow up. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
It's not okay.
Oh my goodness. In that instance, you don't get any excuses at all, because you are actively trying to be a jerk. So that's how I feel about that. I want to read some of these comments, because this one, I think our chat also has feelings about this. Recently, one of the main Switch hackers removed his CFW and payloads once he found out it was used for piracy. So there's that at least. Yeah, not all hackers are bad, and they're not doing it to be bad, but there are people that will take advantage of what they do and be bad with it. So it's nice to know that he's, or he or she is trying to pull back on that. Nintendo says, "I used to really want to hack my systems a while ago. Then I realized something. It isn't, illegal? Hacking hardware to cheat or get free games is completely immoral to me most of the time." Well, the whole piracy thing, yeah, that is very much illegal. As far as the hacking goes, Nintendo has actually lost several court cases over that. It's the hardware belongs to the person who purchased it. It's when you take things online and you start doing things that changes the infrastructure of the company and their offerings. That's when you get into that bad illegal territory. Yeah, unless it's private battle, then we're good. Yeah, we're on the same page. And yeah, hackers are rare right now, but it's going to grow. You can trust us on that. Nintendo says hacking an old PSP for some emulated Nintendo games from the 90s is one thing, but taking a modern system and stealing these brand new games that hundreds of people worked hard on is another. Yeah, we're kind of in a time period where people are incredibly entitled and think that a lot of these media things should be free. If you're a creator and you want to give your stuff away for free, that's one thing. When you are actively stealing something from a creator who put their heart and soul in something, they need to, you know, they need to live too. That's their livelihood. If you're not paying them, what are they going to do?
Okay, Daddy Sakurai needs to eat. Pay the man.
Have you seen him lately? He needs to eat.
Send him a cake.
He needs to eat those mashed potatoes.
Buy a copy of Melee, Brawl, Smash 4, pre-order Ultimate. Send the man a cake.
Breath of the Wild took so much work to make, and it's only a single year old, yet people are taking it for free, and all these people cheating is horrible. Yeah, so Breath of the Wild has an incredibly large team. That's not to say that it didn't sell really well, but that should never be an excuse for you taking a product that costs an amount of money and just taking it for yourself. That's really how I feel about it. If you guys have additional comments, you can speak them now, or we can move on.
I mean, that's kind of... Again, you know, once you start, once your actions start affecting other people, that's when you need to start, like, hey, this is, maybe I should or should not be doing this in this way. So
it's one thing to mod Breath of the Wild to play as Waluigi. It's a different thing altogether to steal Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
I respect one of those two things.
Jordan makes a good point too, mentioning what Nintendo's been doing to these hackers. They are banning I think they're banning their entire like IP. So, like, no matter what system they log into their account with, it's banned anyway. So that's a pretty efficient method of doing that. But then again, if they ever get a different IP address or just move, you know, how does that handle? How do you handle that? Anyway, Dream Drop says, I've got a friend who's hacked his Switch and pirated everything he can without risking a ban, and he thinks it's cute or whatever. Really? Yeah, it's that kind of mentality that's pretty toxic. Unless they buy another Switch, they probably will learn their lesson. Yeah, you know, would you rather hack your system, steal some stuff, or play online cheating, and then pay another $300 so you can do it again? Doesn't seem worth it. No. Moving on. Sorry, I was very passionate about that.
Yeah, we have feelings about that.
So let's see. Capcom could release more cloud-based games on Nintendo Switch. We know that there was some controversy surrounding that original cloud release because we talked about it here on the show. I didn't think it would become a bigger thing, and this is still just Capcom. But what do you guys think about this?
I'm curious to see if they'll take it outside of just Japan. Because right now we can't really comment on it because we couldn't experience it. It wasn't available to us. So I'm curious to see if they'll expand that and try it elsewhere.
I'm all for the future of cloud gaming, of just streaming the game, you know, that's on other hardware. Obviously, like, it makes it really easy to port a game to something that's underpowered when it's not relying on the power of the system itself. And so for that, I think it's cool. I don't know why people are so up in arms about it. I think it's cool. I don't think I'd pay for it. There's other ways I can play that game. I could buy it on my PC. I could buy it on my PS4, you know? And so probably the same with other games. And for the foreseeable future, you're not going to see any, like, stream exclusive games. Like, maybe it's a different conversation once that starts happening.
I think the main argument on the other side is that tangibility. You know, you'll have the cartridge forever. That service will not always be available in the case of a cloud based game. I think a better tactic, and this might not even work depending on the game you're working with, would be to have a cloud-based version, but to also release it physically and digitally. So you have multiple methods of playing. But in the case of like Resident Evil 7, I don't think the Switch could have properly handled it the way they intended.
That's what I'm saying is like be able to get it on the Switch, unless you are gonna, you're okay with some very big visual downgrades,
So it really comes down to like how much time and money a given company wants to put into a port. So that's the thing. So I'm okay with this happening, just as long as the games that can run on my Switch are also released on my Switch.
Yeah.
So if it comes to America, we'll give it a try, I guess, and tell you what we think on a more direct scale. Moving on again. Flip Grip allows you to play arcade games vertically on your Switch. Paul, you had some stuff you wanted to say about this.
Yes, I've been waiting for an accessory like this, not so I could play arcade games vertically. But you know what this guy means? It is now viable, to a degree, to get DS games on the Switch.
There you go.
There's now a method in which we could emulate DS and 3DS games on our Switches.
That's a good point.
And that excites me.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting.
That is the first thing that came to my mind when I saw it.
Oh, that'd be cool too, because you'd have the top and bottom screens right next to each other.
I feel like you'd have to see like an official release of a Nintendo accessory though.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that this demonstrates to Nintendo that there is a demand for this product, and hopefully it puts the idea in someone's head at Nintendo, hey, we can use this for DS games.
Right.
And if they release like a, what is this, a capacitive touchscreen? Like a capacitive compatible stylus? Because some of those DS games will run much better when you have a stylus in hand.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's a fantastic opportunity. I loved, I mean, as cluttery as it could be sometimes, playing DS games on Wii U was pretty cool for me. I want to say like if you played it in gamepad only mode, you could have the screens like top to bottom to one another. I can't remember for sure, but I know you could at least have them right next to each other. And that possibility, like on an HD screen, is really enticing.
Oh yeah. For me, like, there's just a handful of games, like, from the retro library that they just really couldn't, like, outside of the Wii U, they couldn't really do anything with DS games and 3DS games. It was, you have to go out and buy the hardware.
Not without some significant compromises in it, anyway.
Yeah. But now that it's actually something that they could tangibly do, now that there's a method with the Switch that makes it possible, it's something I do want to see.
Yeah. I'm all for that. That's a good point, Paul. I'm glad you brought that up.
Preserve that era.
Yeah, for sure. And since it's a portable console, it fits the idea of the Switch as well. Moving on, this is probably some of the biggest news during the week. Nintendo fully embraces cross-play in a new Minecraft trailer. Sony should take some notes.
And it's like we've known about this for months.
But it's the way that they're broadcasting it that's important, I think.
Right, especially in light with like all the Fortnite stuff as well happening. Man, like Sony's just getting pooed on when it comes to the PR and crossplay.
They have in that trailer, they have that moment where the solid Nintendo Red and the solid Xbox Green are right next to each other with the logos, and it says "Survive Together." And then there's a meme with solid Sony Blue filling the whole screen that says "Survive Alone." Sony is really getting ragged on for this. This is a kind of aggressive marketing I haven't seen from gaming companies in a long time. Like, this is reminding me of those like Sega versus Nintendo days. Like, this was an attack.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was a lot more subtle. Right?
Yeah.
So I think I might have mentioned this to you guys earlier in the week. It seems like the current popular tactic, at least for gaming companies, is to see who can out wholesome each other. right?
Yeah.
Who can out encourage each other, and whoever's being the nicest, whoever's being the kindest is the winner. And it's kind of beautiful because you don't see that in every industry, but that's something that for the most part we get to experience quite a bit in the gaming community.
Xbox.
Speaking of wholesome,
go ahead,
being
Paul.
wholesome. You know what this was? This is the Microsoft and Nintendo going to Sony's house to see if he'll come out and play.
Hey,
It's like, okay, we're gonna go play together. If you want down,
It's like, hey, come on, join us, man.
we would like
Together.
to play. The Twitter interactions Dream Drop's mentioning was fantastic. Nintendo was like, "Hey, Microsoft, since we can play together now, do you want to build something?" And Xbox was like, "Yeah, my body's ready." Xbox's body is ready. Wow.
the entirety of Xbox, its body is ready.
And then the official Minecraft Twitter chimed in, and there was this thing between Nintendo UK and Xbox UK with like a green heart next to a red heart. It's super cute, and it also kind of reminds me of the time earlier this year where Nintendo of America posted Chibi Robo on fire on their Twitter, and then all these other companies started jumping in on the joke. It was just a great day on Twitter, and that moment for Twitter was also great for the gaming community. So
Yeah.
Jordan, Xbox and Nintendo, they're hooking up behind the scenes.
Whoa.
And they're letting the world know. So Nintendo and Xbox are friends right now. I'm wondering though, like what kinds of partnerships this could lead to in the future. Like they're really actually working together on this, and that's pretty incredible. That's almost unheard of in this industry. So super cool. I'm wondering if that means Banjo will be in Smash, please.
I would totally take Banjo and Smash, and it's totally a possibility.
They're obviously
like,
talking about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell that like Microsoft is like they're so like over the whole like exclusivity thing. They're like, okay, we're gonna make our exclusive games, and we're gonna have those, but like certain games operate better not being exclusive. Obviously, they bought Minecraft, and they're like, well, we're not just gonna keep this on Xbox. It's way bigger than Xbox. And then so they're like, okay, let's put it on everything. Let's do the cross-play thing. Let's give it the full treatment. And I think that's great. That's fantastic.
I know what it is, guys.
What?
The deal they're working out is Banjo will be in Smash Brothers, but you can play it on Xbox first.
Oh no. Xbox launch exclusive.
Banjo is an Xbox launch exclusive character.
That's funny. Oh no, please don't. I had a good thought, but it left me.
Sorry.
It's gone. No, it's not your fault, but it's still gone. Moving on, Reggie on the 3DS. We're going to continue to have some new games on the platform. Hey, guys, I guess 3DS is just here to stay, and we have to get over it.
I kind of accepted it a while ago.
I really don't care.
It's
I just
fine.
I don't want to have to pay attention to it anymore.
I don't want really great games coming to the 3DS.
There is one really great game coming to 3DS that I'm also okay with being on 3DS.
Paper Mario, that was in your door?
WarioWare Gold. Like that game just works on 3DS, and there's also some touch-based like WarioWare GS games that are in there, so that's fine. I also love WarioWare, but that's like my one game I'm okay with right now. But they're going to keep doing this. They're going to announce that one game. They're like, ooh, I got to have that game. And they're going to sink their claws in you and drag you back in.
I'm down with more like cross releases as well. It's like, okay, well, here's a game, and we're going to put it on this now.
Like
Obviously,
Sushi Striker and Captain Toad.
Getting Captain Toad. I'd love to
Luigi's
see
Mansion.
I'd love to see what happened with Luigi's Mansion. Just give me both those games. Give me that new remake, and then like up-res Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. And just give me a package on Switch.
Yeah, that's a perfect strategy.
In all seriousness, though, like I'm genuinely hoping that if they ever do a 1,000-Year Door release, that doesn't go to 3DS exclusively.
Please, I would be physically hurt.
Kill me. They will kill me if they do that.
Yeah, that would be not cool. There have been some talks that Pokemon Generation 8 may also release on 3DS alongside Switch. Not sure how I feel about that because I want Pokemon to evolve. But if it does happen, I can understand why. That install base is enormous. Game Freak doesn't want to lose out on that. The Pokemon Company specifically doesn't want to lose out on that. So
that would have been a better move for like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Well, they're framing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee as a console Pokemon, but when they're talking about Gen 8, they're talking about a handheld Pokemon. So I think like the differences between the two are going to be more pronounced once we see Gen 8.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about more of that later. Moving forward, once again, Ubisoft reveals how Star Fox ended up in Starlink on Nintendo Switch. And Paul, you seemed to attach to the story pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it was for me, it was the first time I've heard them like talk about the game where it like gave me faith that this is going to be a good game. I believe the story for the most part is they're interviewing I think someone who's running like a demo, and apparently like a Nintendo Okay, let me start over. They showed it at E3, I think last year.
You did.
A Nintendo representative came by and tried it out, and he clearly enjoyed it because he left and he came back with more representatives from Nintendo, and it kept happening and happening. I think until they got to Reggie. They got Reggie in there to play it. Mm-hmm. Next thing they know, they have a meeting at the Japanese headquarters for Nintendo, and they started kind of working out this partnership, and that's how Star Fox made it into Starlink.
That meeting was specifically with Miyamoto and the Star Fox team. The one thing that wasn't entirely clear to me was whether or not this was Ubisoft's idea or Nintendo's idea. I don't know where that happened. I got the impression that it was Nintendo's idea. I don't think that they would have been like, hey, give us Star Fox. We need Star Fox in this since you guys enjoy it so much. I'm wondering like how much of this is in response to the reception to Star Fox Zero. Maybe they saw a lot of Star Fox in this game and said, we need to jump on this opportunity to kind of rekindle the flame for Star Fox.
Yeah, I think it's a good step, you know? So like let's think about like the Star Fox Grand Prix, which is still up in the air. We don't know if it's actually happening.
Please be real.
So this
December,
might be that
correct.
step where they're like, okay, we're gonna curry some good favor with the Star Fox crowd. Hey, look, this is a really great integration into this game with Star Fox, and so let's continue to do some stuff like this. Let everybody know that we're still into Star Fox and we're still into this happening. And obviously it got a huge response because I think Starlink's probably a higher profile game now than it was just for the inclusion.
And
I wasn't going to buy it.
To jump on that really quick, it should be a higher profile game than people are giving it credit for. Because there's a real game, like a big game under this idea of shipbuilding.
Well, I mean, the takeaway from this article is that it was it's such a solid experience that it got Nintendo's attention.
Right.
It really got their attention. So there is something about this game that is high quality enough for them to say, hey, let's put Star Fox in there, you know? You're doing something right.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this. There's also going to be, and I think this is on a per character basis, there's going to be some Star Fox exclusive missions, like story missions for Fox and assuming his team as well. So there might even be like a little tiny Star Fox adventure built right into this huge game where you can also play as Fox. And that's cool to me. Like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll probably play the entire game as Fox. He has a skill tree, I'm hearing, and I am really into that.
Oh boy!
I like me some skill trees.
There's one piece of misinformation, or rather lack of information about this game. Like everywhere I hear people talking about it, they are ignoring the fact that you don't have to buy the toys. Everything is available in a digital online store. You don't have to buy the toys. If you don't want the toys, buy it digitally.
I mean, this is one of those cases that, like, I only wanted the R-Wing.
Me too.
And so after that, if I feel like I want to buy other, like, parts and stuff, Like I'll definitely do it digitally, but I got the one that I wanted.
And another thing to note, when you do buy a physical toy, you unlock its digital counterpart for 2-player. So you have 2 versions of it, so there is added value. However, that digital version, from what I understand, is temporary. Don't know for how long. But so there is some value on top of like owning a cool toy to buying the physical versions. So I'm very excited for that. I have it pre-ordered with the Star Fox bundle, and I can't wait to play it. I will probably buy the whole Star Fox team if they release all of them. Moving on, Nintendo and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate were the most talked about subjects during E3 on Twitter. Woo!
Makes sense.
Is anybody surprised?
Not at all.
I thought it would be Square Enix. Dang.
I think on IGN, like, their most talked about game was Anthem, like, among their fans. I thought that was interesting. Smash was like 6 or 7 down the list. I was a little surprised by that. I guess I probably shouldn't be, but even then. So yeah, Nintendo, they fired on one cylinder, a big cylinder, but they got the attention of all of Twitter, so that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
They're going to ride that high. The response to Smash has been incredible. People still say it's support, and I want to punch myself in the face every time I hear that. Artsy Omni on Twitter, I have to point this out. He said, before Smash was announced, people were saying it was a port. Or people are saying it's a new game. People are also saying it's a port. And now they're saying it's a sequel.
Which is a new game! It's a new game! That's what a sequel is! It's a new game!
It's an Echo game?
It hurts me, like, on a physical and mental emotional level.
Why are people so dumb?
Oh my gosh. Anyway, Rocket League is getting a Fortnite-inspired Rocket Pass.
This wasn't the only company doing this. There was also talk for PUBG. And here's the thing that, like, I'm baffled by this. Not because I think it's necessarily a bad idea. It works for Fortnite because it has a different model, or like a different pay model. You get the game for free, and then you can buy the battle pass so you can, accelerate, unlock new things and whatnot. Like, it makes sense in a free game to pay more money for, like, the season pass. Rocket League and PUBG, if you have like a base payment for the game, why would I want to spend another $10 or $20? I bought the game. I paid for this already. I don't want to pay for more, especially when I haven't from here to now. Why would I want to start?
It's definitely a strange model. Like, I understand they're constantly updating the game and they're building new stuff and new cosmetics. Like, they did that for Super Smash Brothers, but those were usually bundled in with characters. So I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not particularly pleased by it, but Rocket League, as it is already, there was this, chest and key system where you had to buy keys, but you would unlock chests by playing. So you would get the chest, but you couldn't even get the content unless you paid money for it anyway. So it's not like they haven't already been doing this kind of pay model. This might even be nicer than that.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't have a huge issue with this because, again, it's an ongoing online game, and they keep finding ways to monetize it, and I think that's fine. Also, the entry is only $20. Granted, unless you even got it on sale, I don't think I've played, full price for Rocket League, and I've bought it twice over, right? But then, like, everything else is like, okay, here's like all of this cosmetic DLC, and so I think this is just something extra that they need to sell, and it's exactly that. It's extra.
The point that I get bothered is when it's pay to win. Right. I do think there is an amount of stuff that you should be able to unlock in the game without paying for it, on a cosmetic level, like not outside of bodies and stuff. But since it's not pay to win, I'm not like super frustrated at the idea. But still, you did pay for the game up front. They should probably offer you at least a little bit more out of the gate. Like, I
feel like if they approached it with just, hey, here's more DLC cars and here's some other stuff we'll throw in with it. Like, I've paid for different cars in Rocket League.
Yeah,
they've
so
gotten
have I.
additional money from me. This is just like you're copying a system from a game that has a different price structure than you. Find your own way of doing this.
Right. And so I guess that comes down to the consumer saying, like, okay, if not enough people are going to buy this, then we're not going to sell it, right? So if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you vote with your wallet, I guess. That being said, these pricing models are always successful, and they always make money, and that's why they keep doing it. It's an unfortunate thing, but at least it's not blind bag. This is not a loot box. You know what you're getting when you pay money, at least. So like the way it works in Fortnite, like you could play, and get like tier 58 and unlock 58 different stages of items that you could get. If you hadn't purchased the premium pass by that point, I mean, you could and then unlock everything back. But if you weren't particularly compelled by that content, you don't have to pay for it, and you still were unlocking at least a few things as you went.
Right.
So in that sense, I think it's okay because you at least know what you're getting. If it was a full-on loot box where it was a blind grab, then I'd have more of a problem. The communication between developer and consumer is a lot clearer, and I think that's why this works better.
Yeah.
But that, I think it's moving in a better direction than we've seen with like EA and Battlefront, where there was content that you could unlock through the game, but it was so difficult to unlock in game that you might as well just paid for it. But it was so expensive on top of that. It was just a big problem.
Right.
Someone in the chat was mentioning this earlier. Super Smash Brothers fans are harassing Masahiro Sakurai over Waluigi being snubbed.
Please don't.
Give the man a break.
Can we all, take a minute, stop whatever you're doing, and just, work on yourself a little bit today, right? Think about what do I have to be and what do I have to do or not do in order to be a decent, non-scummy human being, right? And one of the things you don't do is harass people, especially over something so
meaningless.
Menial.
It's trivial,
something so small. Like, oh no, you're getting a whole new Smash Bros. Game with all these characters, but it doesn't have that one character that I hardly had a chance of making it as a character in the first place.
Sakurai didn't cater to specifically you, one in millions of fans. Well, guess I gotta be a jerk to him on Twitter.
With this, do you want him to not put Waluigi in the game?
This is why he hasn't.
Yeah.
He thinks Waluigi fans are like him ironically, and this is only fueling that understanding for him. If you want Waluigi in Smash, stop doing this, because it is actually making it worse.
I mean, I want Waluigi in the game. I genuinely want him in the game.
So do I.
But, not that way. Not to the point that I have to harass Sakura.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
There's 66 characters in Smash already. If we don't get Waluigi, it's not the end of the world. We have plenty of other representation there,
He spent the last 6 years of his life dedicated to this series and to its fans. And if this is the way you're going to respond to that, then you don't deserve to be a fan. That's why he's blocking you on Twitter.
Leave Mashed Potato Samurai alone!
Well, we love Sakurai here, and we're not going to treat him like that. We appreciate everything he's done for the Smash series, and even if there's a character that's not in the game right now that we want, it's okay. He's already given us more than enough.
Yeah, there's other people to harass about that, right? Like your friends. Harass your friends about it.
Yeah, do that.
Settle it in Smash.
Waluigi was on Let's Make a Deal yesterday, and he got zonked. And you didn't see the internet up in a uproar. I had to point it out to the internet.
Fake fans.
Fake fans.
Fake fans.
He got zonked, and nobody cared but me.
What does it mean to get zonked?
It means you picked the deal that was actually not a prize, and you get a gag prize that is meaningless.
Oh, cool.
So that's what it means to be zonked. It is very similar to not being in Super Smash Brothers.
I mean, he is in Super Smash Brothers, and that's the thing that I think people forgot. He's an assist trophy. It's cool.
I need to make a video where I take the zonked sound effect and play it over the part in the direct where he appears as an assist trophy. Wah, wah, wah. That's the sound, too. It's even a wah. It's perfect.
Oh, that's too good.
Let's see. Where was I at? Poll. Gaming disorder becomes a thing. It's time to assess how much you play. So, if you play, they had a number, right? Was it 20 hours a week or something?
I thought it was like 10.
Is even less? If it's 10 hours a week, I'm even more upset.
Okay,
I have a disorder?
If
Okay, it's
I
in excess
needed
of
somebody,
24
if I needed somebody up there, wherever this organization is, some mystical organization, because that's what they are to me. They're a myth. Some mystical organization telling me that I'm mentally ill because I play too many video games. Get a better job, because I already know I'm mentally ill, right? I know I'm not mentally well. I don't need another diagnosis on top of all the other stuff I'm doing. People don't play video games. Video games are the symptom. Video games are not the core of the issue, right?
Hear me out here.
So I don't know as far as the diagnosis, how much sense
I have a
this
problem. I need help. I can't work. I'm not functioning properly. I play too many video games. Please send help.
Yeah, look at his posters. He's obviously a mess.
You're fine.
I have problems.
Fine.
I need government assistance. Okay.
Oh man, I read too many books in a single week. I must be mentally ill.
Yeah, so it's kind of silly. Okay, you consume too much of a singular kind of media, therefore, okay, we're gonna put this as a disorder, as opposed to like, oh, well, maybe they're depressed, and that's an issue, and that needs to be dealt with, and maybe they play less video games if they weren't so depressed and anxious, and here's another 1,000 pieces, of selections, things that you could, prescribe to any certain person to, So I don't know. It seems kind of redundant. Honestly, it sounds kind of like a joke, but if you're playing that many video games, chances are you're coping with something. And if you're coping with video games, it's probably better than coping with a lot of other things. So I'll take it.
Dream Drop says they said 20 hours a week, except 20 hours a week is about 2.5 hours a day. Get a grip. I hate the suits who are behind this because they cause alienation and bad stigma, which exists for no reason. Video games are now this generation's Marilyn Manson or general rock music, just another thing to demonize. Nintendo says, I wouldn't say mental disorder, that's just stupid. Addiction is more like it. Yeah, but addiction in itself is considered a mental disorder, so I think that's where they came up with the association. But despite that, you're right.
Yeah, I was about to say, and if we're worried about video games, do we even want to start talking about TV?
TV, reading, any actual other activity?
I'm addicted to cocaine,
well, I mean,
but at least I'm not addicted
TV,
to video games.
Because people watch more TV than they play video games.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down.
And they're probably being persuaded into more political ideas by watching television than they are aware of. That's why people think it's an addiction, because they watch TV and they're being brainwashed.
You play Mario, and it's largely, amoral, other than the fact that, hey, this weird-looking mofo, he stole my lover girl, and so I'm gonna go get her, right? So obviously somebody's bad, somebody's good, but again, largely amoral. You're not gonna get any super deep commentary out of most of these games. Some games try to do it. Most games are just kind of trying to tell a story, Usually it's about niceness, or what you shouldn't do those things because they're bad.
Let's see.
Last two.
Nintendo says, but to be fair, books and other medium don't give us the dopamine rush that games do. That's true. But I feel like there are a lot worse things that could give you a dopamine rush.
I mean, I don't. Okay, that being said, like, I can read a book, I can listen. Because, okay, you want to talk about dopamine rush. Okay, music is probably making my dopamine going off way more than games are. I play a lot of games, but man, my experience with music is so much different. So unless you have some like empirical evidence that I don't know of, and not that I would know of, it's not like I go out there looking for it. But unless somebody has some empirical evidence,
it's funny that you're bringing this up too.
And that kind of stuff is different in that way.
As soon as you started saying that, Nintendo said music can actually give people pretty large dopamine rushes too.
Well, you just had a prime example. That's why I'm a musician, right? That's why I create. It feels so good. So I mean, just because something feels good.
There's a story I think I read on like, did you know? There was a guy in like Sweden, I think, he's addicted to heavy metal concerts, and he got like government assistance because he's seen like he went to 300 metal concerts in a year, and he's got a problem.
Are you talking about Jake?
I wish.
Yeah, so just attaching it to video games is the part that's meaningless. Addiction is a real problem. It should be tackled at its core, not just picking one to be the face of addiction. Why not make cigarettes the face of addiction? Because they can kill you.
Because video games make you violent.
Apparently. Moving on. I mean, go ahead, Logan, if you have something to say.
I was going to say, like, I mean, even with, like, physical addiction, right? There's like psychological addiction, there's physical addiction. Whereas something like video games, that'd be a psychological addiction. Okay, it feels good to play, so I'm going to continue playing it. Whereas like something like a cigarette, you actually get like a physical like nicotine addiction.
Right.
And like I'd say, one's worse than the other. And I think nicotine and smoking will kill you a lot faster than playing too many video games.
And there's also a psychological aspect to that as well. Mm-hmm. Like once you have that physical addiction, then it becomes a mental problem.
Right. So that being said, like if you are playing video games, take breaks. Go get up, stretch, go take a walk.
Guess what video game company tells you to take breaks in their games?
All the time. And Nintendo. It was the one where you're just constantly waggling the wand.
Do you know what game they used as an example in the news story that aired on my television station?
What?
Super Mario Odyssey. That game tells you to take breaks, doesn't it? I'm fairly certain it did.
Yeah, it definitely does. So I mean, get up, go do something, be a human being, interact with people, and the video games will be there when you get back.
For sure. Let's see. Nintendo might go back to live press conferences at E3. I want to adjust that title or that headline a little bit to say that Nintendo has not given up on live press conferences at E3. They are still open to them, but all these years, the digital event has just been the way that was going to work for them. So that's what they did.
See, I like this because I never thought they were like, we're done with live press conferences. That's just never. And no, that's not how you want to do things. You want to keep options open. So what's the most effective way to go about things? Sometimes they're like, here's a digital thing because this is what's logistically possible with how busy everybody is. But maybe one of the years we'll be like, heck yeah, like all this live stuff, like that has a lot of value too. And so the fact that it's still in the cards is super important.
Might I direct your attention to January 2017, where they stood up on stage and talked to us about Nintendo Switch for an hour and a half?
Yep.
That was great. They also could have done it in a digital only version or like a pre-recorded thing, but they did it on stage. So obviously they're still open to the idea. I would not take this as that they're going to do it next year, because you might disappoint yourself if you say that now.
Yeah.
There's always the possibility they'll do it when they have a reason to. Talking about Smash for 25 minutes straight on stage? No, probably not going to work. Doing it in a direct where you can target it directly at the fans who want to be there to watch it? Yeah, that works. Doing it at E3 2018? I have reservations about that still. But that's just me. I love Smash, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so yeah, they might go back to their press conferences at some point. If they do, I'll be happy. I'm going to watch them all anyway, so it doesn't affect me that much because I'll always be a viewer. That being said, if we do end up at E3 next year and they want to do a press conference, hey, you know, I'm not going to stop you because we'll be there. So moving on, once again, the Virtual Console is officially considered the successor to Switch Online is officially considered the successor to Virtual Console by Nintendo. Hey, Torax. I kind of was already under the assumption of this. It's nice to have some clarification. And
well, I think this demonstrates that it's not just NES games. It will eventually expand and become.
Oh, I totally believe
something
it.
close to what we were.
I also think we'll have to pay more. $30, $40 a year down the line. I think
I probably will.
I think it's smart that they're like, okay, let's go with the low price to start, though, limited services. And as things go on, people get a better feel for it, and more people are like, this is a really great service. Okay, we're going to up the price and up the value of the service as well.
I've said this over and over again as we've talked about Switch Online. If they offer me Nintendo 64 games with online multiplayer, I will be there in a heartbeat. That is incredible to me. Being able to sit down and play some Mario Party 2 with you guys over the internet on our Switches, fantastic. I would be happy to pay for that because that is a need. Mm-hmm. That is a need that they'd be fulfilling.
Yeah, like just how I need online multiplayer for Superman 64.
Yeah, yes. Of course we do. We all need it. That being said, I want to remind you guys that in 3 months we'll be playing NES games online. Not that that's terribly exciting in and of itself, but it's happening.
Balloon Trap.
Yeah, that's simultaneous multiplayer.
Sounds like a really good one.
Yeah. Hey, let's play Super Mario Bros. 3 online together where we still have to take turns.
I mean, but at least you can play together, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can hop on the Nintendo Switch Online app and talk to your friends while you play NES games over the internet.
Yeah, so I'm happy about this. I think we'll get some good stuff here in the next couple months. After Switch Online launches, I think a few months later, maybe even at a Nintendo Direct or something, they'll start detailing the future of legacy content on the Switch Online service.
Yeah, that's something I look forward to hearing more about.
Yeah, me too. Wow, that was a lot of news. Hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half. Jeez. So unfortunately last week we had to cut off the breakdown podcast a little early due to some technical difficulties. That is not happening right now.
So this podcast is going 5 hours. So you guys are in the long.
You're getting a little extra bang for your. Well, I guess you're not paying us. You're getting more. That's all it is. You're getting more.
Devin, if you're out there, you're getting the extra bang for your buck.
There you go. Our number one patron.
Our number one patron, which you can also get into if you'd like. The description is in the description.
Oh no,
below.
I didn't shout him out in my video.
You'll do it.
I'll do it next time.
Video. He'll get what's coming to him.
Shout him out in every video until someone else donates to us.
Now
stop
he's
shouting out Devin.
Our number one patron. Patron.
Someone's gonna give us money so that we stop mentioning Devin. I'm waiting for that day.
So we're gonna have to kind of switch things over to an important Break Room Arcade Direct. Well, you guys probably already know about this, but this will be the last traditional breakdown podcast because next week we'll be starting a new podcast called Nintendo Stuff, and that's the podcast, where the first hour and a half of this podcast will be its own podcast, where we will strictly talk about Nintendo, the Nintendo games we're playing, the news, all that jazz will be its own dedicated podcast, because we have come to find out that we are trying to do way too much in too short of a time. Yeah. So the breakdown will still be its own podcast, where we will talk about our movies, TV, anime, and video games outside of Nintendo. That will be its own podcast. Those will broadcast. Did we agree on Monday nights for that?
I don't think we did. Let's ask our chat. Would you guys prefer a Monday night or a Tuesday night?
Place your votes in the chat. Let us know what
works better for you. What'll happen is next Friday, the 29th, we will start Nintendo Stuff Episode 1. And then the following Monday or Tuesday, so either July 2nd or 3rd, the Breakdown Podcast will be back.
So that'll be our 20th episode of the Breakdown Podcast in its brand new shiny format. And Nintendo Stuff Podcast, like Paul said, be on Friday, totally dedicated to Nintendo. So we know that you...
And stuff.
Nintendo stuff. So look forward to that. It was a big decision for us to make, but I think it's the right one. So we hope you guys will tune in to both podcasts. And please rate us on Apple Podcasts. We need the help. No one's rated us. If you're listening right now, you can go to Apple Podcasts or iTunes. You can rate us, and that'd be fantastic. Please leave us a review.
It helps our show. Like it doesn't matter where you're at, like where you're listening. Please go to iTunes and rate us there. It helps us out considerably. For reasons I don't remember. There is a logic behind it. I'm not making it up.
Keep putting your votes here in the chat. We will be observing that over the course of the rest of the show. Thank you guys for being fans. With that, we're going to switch again out of the Break Room Arcade Direct to the Breakdown Podcast, or the Breakdown segment of the Breakdown Podcast. So, movies and TV. So since I wasn't able to tell you guys what I watched last week, I did myself a favor and didn't watch anything else.
Good work, Brandon. Good work.
I saw Incredibles 2 on opening night. And I liked it a whole lot, actually. I think this might be one of Pixar's just strongest sequels in a long time. I would put this up there with Toy Story in rank, probably closer to Toy Story 2, because Toy Story 3 is in its own league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Incredibles 2, very strong, very similar to the first film, I think, in a lot of its theming, and a lot of the direction it takes. And that's not a bad thing, because I think the first Incredibles is a great movie. Yeah, there's really not much else I can say except that I liked it a whole lot.
So it's worth driving 20 minutes to go to a theater to see it.
I'd say so. I mean, I used my Movie Pass to go check it out. So again, there's no cost to me, but I had a great time with it. So if you love Pixar and you love animation, definitely check out Incredibles 2 if you love the first movie. There are some things I've been seeing people say that they didn't like it as much as the first one. I think it might be a better movie than the first one. But that's just me. So go check out Incredibles 2. Animation's great. Voice acting's great. Everything pretty great. So check it out.
I know sometime soon I will manage to go see it. My coworker actually really wants to go see it with me. So I don't know when exactly we're going to go, but we are going to go see that.
Oh, can I do a PSA really quick? Can we stop all the memes where all of the adults are the only ones that are seeing the movie? Because... come on. You're just doing it to look cool on social media, and really it just makes you look awkward, if you ask me. That's my PSA.
Do you push your kid off the swing with that mouth?
Nintendo says, well, I guess I was wrong about Incredibles 2. But then again, I wanted to be wrong in it anyway. I still need to see it for myself. Audience reviews and critical reviews are pretty strong, and I think that they are pretty well backed up based on what I saw. But we'll shift it over to you, Paul. Tell us about When Calls the Heart.
I made it to the season 4 Christmas special.
Are you about to tell us about Charles? Is his name Charles?
He did not come back, thankfully.
Charles.
But get this. He stopped Jack from proposing to Elizabeth, right? And you want to know what's happened since then? Other people have met and gotten married.
What?
Okay. Charles derailed the greatest ship in the show. because his selfish butt was trying to propose to her before Jack could.
Nice censor, Paul. That was really well done. Like,
I tried.
That was good.
What is this show?
It's a soap opera.
Show. It
Sort
sounds
of.
like it's a soap opera.
It's a Hallmark drama.
This might as well be a
man.
soap opera.
Yeah,
Sounds like
it pretty much is.
sounds like my kind of content.
It
Sounds like
it's
the kind of
surprisingly
content I love
amazing.
to watch.
But it was getting a little hairy there in the end of season 3.
Ooh.
There was there's a makeshift town, I guess. It was a tent community of people who like husbands were working in a different mine. It was about an hour or two away, and it started raining something fierce. There was a gigantic mudslide, and it went through their shanty town and just destroyed it. They managed to get everybody out and into their town in time, thankfully. But Jack, he went to save the little girl who was, trying to grab her all her toys, and he got hit by a wave of water and knocked out. And so for a second there, I thought we lost Jack, and I was distraught.
Man, Jack.
Elizabeth was distraught. It was a bad time.
Before we move on, I have to make a quick announcement. We have a second patron on our Patreon page. Dream Drop Sora just backed the channel. And he says, IDK when you guys get the notification, but I'll increase my patronage when I start making more money. Thank you so much.
That's what it's about, though.
Let's see. Which one are you at? So you are a back roomie. You're going to get special access to Discord channels and early access to videos, too. So thank you so much.
You help us out a whole lot. Bless you.
All right, Paul.
So that was When Calls the Heart. Still, I hate myself for liking it as much as I do, and you guys need to watch it.
Here's the thing. Like, the next time we're together, we're gonna get on Crunchyroll and we're gonna watch the Japanese drama.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I kind of want to continue that one I told you guys about before because I was into it when I didn't want to be.
We should.
What else?
Other end of the spectrum, I'm still watching Game of Thrones. Before I had previously watched seasons 1 through 6, and just last night I finished season 6 again, so I'm all caught up. Today I purchased season 7, and I watched the first episode of that. This show is really good. Don't watch it with your parents.
And we can't officially
Unless
recommend.
Your parents are really cool.
We can't officially recommend you watch this unless you are of a high age, probably not like 12.
It's a mature show, so.
Yeah.
But it's a good show. So when you get old enough, then I recommend it.
All right, what do you got? What's next?
So last thing up is I sat down and I watched Kingsman-2, The Golden Circle with my dad. They're not the best movies, the Kingsman movies, but it's something that my family enjoys sitting down and watching together. And I realized when I was watching this that those movies are adult Spy Kids.
Really?
They are, like, if you look at it, like the way they're shot and stuff, like it has that feel of Spy Kids, just in like the adult. Like this is someone grew up watching Spy Kids and then decided to make like the adult version of it. That's Kingsman. Like I'm absolutely sure that had some influence on the director of that movie.
I haven't seen either of the films.
Like if you just see the way like action sequences are shot, it smacked me in the face how Spy Kids it was.
I like in my mind, Spy Kids doesn't even like hit B movie status. That's like C movie status for me.
They are
only because you're a hater.
Else.
I don't hate them. It's just like as a package in my mind.
They have a style to them.
Yeah, they do.
And it works for kids.
Shark Boy, Lava
Yeah,
Girl,
I
everybody.
freaking love those movies. Of course it works for kids. Man,
I still love them. They're hard to watch now, like especially the third one. But the first two,
absolutely.
like, I will stand by those. They're crazy, and I love them.
You kind of cringe a little bit, then you're like, okay, I get why
Dream drop sword gets
9-year-old,
me.
10-year-old me would be like super into this, right?
Yeah. But it was getting back to Kingsman, like it was a fun movie to sit down and watch with my dad. I think we both kind of, and I know Brandon, this is gonna get you. They use country roads all over that movie.
Good.
And we both know how much, we love that song here.
Yeah, we do. Good job,
I hate
Fallout
that song.
76. Get out of the. We're ejecting you from the call again, Logan.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so it wasn't the best movie I've seen this year, but it was a fun time. So if you're looking for adult Spy Kids and to have just a good time, watch it with people. Especially, like, that's my biggest bit of advice. But like, you can have a lot of fun watching Kingsman movies.
All right. And
he's
then,
also a spy, so Spy Kids.
We'll throw it into Logan's corner for movies and TV this month. Why do I keep saying year?
I just wanted to mention again that I've gone another week with the movie pass, and I still haven't seen anything.
Logan, I'm upset.
It's so hard to go to movies alone. It's really hard.
Tell Jonathan to get his own movie pass.
Yeah, maybe one day. But
use your guest pass to get him a guest pass.
I haven't watched any movies in the last few weeks.
Bring a friend.
Earlier, because last 2 weeks, right? That's what we're covering.
Yeah.
Last week, I was just out of internet and stuff like that.
Yeah, we know.
So I was all this drama with it.
Yeah, we know.
And so we watched some DVDs. Okay.
Oh boy, old school.
That right. Johnny had the first season of Chappelle's Show.
Okay.
On DVD, and man, it's a trip. It's a trip. Disclaimer. Also, very mature content.
Don't watch it with your parents.
You're a very mature individual.
You could probably watch it with your parents, but maybe not as a young man.
Absolutely
parents watch
not.
it without you.
Unless you got some cool parents, right? Unless you got some really cool parents. Don't watch this with your parents.
Have your parents watch it without you.
But I think regardless, Chappelle has a lot of value in his narrative, even though it tends to be on the more explicit side of things, which again, if you're old enough, you're into it, like we are. It's really good stuff. It's really good stuff.
You got a fan in Dream Drop.
Yeah. Chappelle's Show's so good. Outside of that, this one
my back
kind of blurs the line between movies, TV, and animation, because it is animated, but it's not an anime. It is I want to say a Korean film.
I think I gathered that by the name.
Yeah, Seoul Station. And it wasn't the best thing. It was on Shudder. So it was on Verve, right? And so it's considered a horror film. And it didn't end up happy. It was not a happy film. It was a sad film.
I think I remember you mentioning when you were going to watch this, didn't you?
Yeah, it was really weird. But it was an animated film, and I was like, an animated horror film. I'm down with this. And so I watched it.
Did you like it in the end, or?
I'm not sure. I didn't hate myself for seeing it, right?
That's not really a bad thing in my mind.
No, I just kind of didn't know how to feel about it. I guess, now kind of revisiting it like I am, I might watch it again. I liked it enough where I would watch it again. And there's some twists in the plot there that I thought was really interesting and fascinating. Yeah, it's all about like zombies and people not knowing what's going on, and a lot of people die. So
good times.
Yeah,
regular Thursday stuff.
It kind of felt like a rotoscoped film if a rotoscope film wasn't a rotoscope film and it was just like an animated film. It kind of gave that.
We know what rotoscoping means. I hope.
Oh, no, I know what rotoscoping means.
I remember Jake not knowing.
Oh, right, I remember that. I remember specifically a Richard Linklater film, A Scanner Darkly. That whole film is rotoscoped, and so it just kind of gave me similar feels. Probably just the style of animation.
Yeah, it just reminded me of a movie that I've been meaning to watch. The name actually escapes me, unfortunately. But I think it's about Van Gogh, I want to say, and every single frame of animation is hand painted.
Yeah, no, talk about a different level of
Gogh?
rotoscoping, right? You're not. It's all painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it just called Van
Supposed
Gogh?
to be
I thought so.
Okay.
It's something.
I wanted to see
crazy,
that.
right? Dude, Google it. Van Gogh, painted film. I would like to see it as well. But I figured that's a great segue, kind of just into talking about all the animated stuff that
for
we've
sure.
watched this week. I will save the one thing that we've all watched, and but for myself, there's a few things. I had a conversation with my roommate Johnny, saying that he would watch Claned with me. We'll see if
That's
he actually
surprising to
follows
me.
through on that. See if he follows through on that, because he's probably not.
I
But-
don't expect him to.
Right.
I will judge him if he
I
doesn't.
could get that kid to watch any anime right now, I'm kind of like, if he's like, yeah, I'll watch anime, I'm just gonna stick him on My Hero, and just go. with that.
Seriously, I could see in 10 years Johnny being like the biggest weeb of all of us, and I really hope that that'd be the case.
Based on like his general interests, you just know for a fact he would like anime if he just watched it.
You just gotta watch the right one, right? That's all it takes. And My Hero's a great one.
Loving Vincent.
Okay.
Outside
thanks.
of that, Megalobox, 12th episode just dropped on Verve earlier today.
Was that the wrap up, or is there more?
No, the one more episode.
Okay.
One more episode. So this was kind of the lull before like the finale, where the main character is gonna go at the champion, and the champion, has like this integrated gear on, right? And so they're like, it covers his arms, and it's just attached to him at all points, right? And he decides to take it off because he wants to fight Gearless Joe on the same footing. And so now they're doing this Megalobox tournament, and nobody's wearing any gear.
That's actually kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like this whole show, like, I was expecting more like, oh wow, cool, like Real Steel kind of stuff, but it was like, oh no, this stuff sucks. Let's go back to regular boxing.
It's kind of cool too, since this anime has its foundation in Ashita no Joe, which is standard regular old boxing. So to see it kind of like go back to that for its finale is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, but I've been really into the show. Really into the show.
This is one I've had my eye on for this season that I wanted to watch.
Yeah, and it sounds. I mean, the way that it's looking, I could see it ending. After this next episode, it just feels right.
Yeah, and that's fine.
So and honestly, if that's okay, because I have enough anime to watch, right? So it just kind of.
They got Rocky it though. He loses, and then the whole next season is him going back and actually winning that time.
That's what I was thinking. If they wanted to keep it going, but there's already been a lot of
Pokemon's based
drama,
on.
and I feel like they're setting it up to end it real quick. So
Well, I mean, in Rocky 2, he actually wins though. So Pokemon, no. Sorry,
So
it's
did
not
Ash.
Rocky.
He won in the Orange Islands. That was 2.
I don't count the Orange Islands, man. That stuff's weak. Get that out of here. They made it up.
He won in the Battle Frontier. That was at least a real league.
right.
Anyway,
Okay, and then finally, let's mention.
My Hero
and you
Academia.
guys can jump in here. My Hero Academia.
You'll have to remind
My
me
Hero-
what happened. Were you
Oh,
This is
dealing
the
with
All for One episode.
the battle with all? Okay.
This is the Battle for All
Yeah, it was
for One.
all
This
of
is
all
like
for one.
The episode.
huge episode.
This is
wow.
the hallmark of the series in my
Episodes.
mind.
Wow.
Episodes.
Lot happened. Spoiler alert.
I might
Yeah.
have spent the whole last half of the latest episode in tears.
It didn't
Just
get me
crying.
until the end shot. The end shot, like, that got me.
Yeah, this was the end essentially. This is All Might retiring essentially.
And they were alluding to this earlier, but All Might was going to tell Midoriya about this problem with like losing his connection to All for One, or One for All, excuse me, and he doesn't get that opportunity. So we were kind of clued in that this might happen, and to finally see it happen in such a blaze of glory too was really incredible.
A sigh of relief that All Might didn't just die.
Yeah,
he's alive.
I was expecting him to die. I was like, pulling him up.
No, I would have been a wreck if All Might was gone. Like, he's not done
all over again. Don't give me that.
He's not done teaching Midoriya, because Midoriya hardly knows anything.
Right.
So
we need Papa All Might.
In a lot of ways, this is not going in the direction that Naruto went in, and I'm really appreciating all of the diversions, because I watched Naruto already. I don't need to see it again. At least, at least not in a different show. So I love like all the differences that My Hero has, all of the directions it's been taking, like specifically with Bakugo. I was really getting worried. I was like, please.
I mentioned that the other day. Like, it finally struck me that Bakugo is Midoriya's endeavor. Like, that is the path that he's on. It's not like with like Naruto and Sasuke, you know, his thing. Like, it's very clear that like this is what Bakugo is going to be in relationship to Midoriya. He's going to be that person who's also a really solid hero, the number 2 hero who just cannot like keep up with the main hero.
He's going to be the Vegeta.
Yeah, I was about to say, that sounds like Vegeta.
I love it. What does that make Todoroki, though? Who's Todoroki going to be?
Everyone.
He's Todoroki, man.
The Gene dude.
Did Todoroki come up with a hero name for himself? I can't remember. Bakugo calls him Icy Hot, and I kind of love that. Like, honestly, I just kind of want it to be Icy Hot now.
Let me see if he has a hero name on.
This makes me think about like back pain and just wanting to like.
That's why I love it. Yeah.
Hey man, I need some help. I really got like a knot.
Then Shaq shows up.
Oh man.
So yeah, this episode was just incredible. From an animation standpoint, it was a sight to behold.
Oh yeah.
When All Might goes in for his like final punch on All for One, you know, they drew it all like in a flamey looking style. It's hard to describe, but it was very intense, and it actually reminded me of Full Metal Alchemist when Mustang is turning lust into ashes, just with the intensity of that scene. So it was very impactful, very emotional too. So I loved it.
Yeah, this is one of like the best episodes. Like, this is the episode that you're going to be talking about, like, you know, when you're in season 5 or 6. And you're like, oh, or season 3, that episode though. You
see,
like, the big villain finally shows up, and then they bro down and just beat each other up. It's
gonna be my record holder, I think, for a long time. The episode that made me cry the longest.
And the cool thing about this episode too is it sets a precedent. It's, you know, at the end, All Might points to Midoriya through the camera, which was awesome, by the way, to let him know that now it's his turn. But also with the battle itself, All Might was weakened severely by his previous encounter with All for One. We know that All Might can win at full power. Midoriya has all of that power and more available to him. So there's going to be a point where Midoriya will be ready and he can win. They've made it clear that it's possible.
Right, yeah. Also, I just want to mention Dream Drop Sora's talking about sticking Johnny with Cowboy Bebop, which is something that I've recommended to Johnny several times. Like, if there's ever a time I want to get somebody into anime, I stick him with Bebop, because that's like the least anime you can get, right? It's just so Western in so many different ways, to the music and the style, and then the voice acting is really great, especially back in the day when, you know, that got a dub. It's like, you know, getting a good dub was kind of a crapshoot, you know. There's a reason that there's a reason that
Daddy
show
Steve.
is so popular to this day. I mean, it's only 26 episodes. It's not a huge commitment. And then again,
There's a
it's
movie,
not
too.
like it's not the weird side of anime, per se. It's really accessible.
I think cool is a very appropriate word.
Oh, Spike Spiegel's the coolest character in anime. Let's not mince words,
Voiced by the god himself, Steve Bloom.
Steve Bloom. Oh man.
He sounds just like Tom from Tsunami.
Oh, you're
But
right.
I feel like My Hero Academia is also accessible in the sense that it's a bunch of superheroes. Who doesn't dig superheroes, right?
And
everybody's into these Marvel films, DC films, and all of a sudden anime comes along.
And the number one hero in My Hero Academia is very much American inspired.
Yeah, it's so good.
Down to the outfit.
So I mean, I hope to eventually turn Johnny on to Cowboy Bebop and to My Hero Academia. I think it's a matter of time.
Yeah. I'll kind of swing things into my area. Unfortunately, I missed Shokugeki no Soma, so I have to catch up on that.
Monster.
You monster frisbee!
It's so good. Why did you do this to me?
I'll have it done for next week.
Okay.
So I decided real quick, Dream Drop says, All Might is literally Captain America cross Captain Falcon. Seems pretty great to me.
So is Goku is also Captain America.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is. Woo! Wow. Man, I didn't expect that one.
So many Echo Fighters!
Jesus!
I saw the opportunity. I had to take it. I had to.
Captain America is Goku's Echo Fighter confirmed. Anyway, I've been taking a trip down memory lane, and I started watching Naruto again from the beginning, since it's on Netflix dubbed. Not that I don't have
it.
I do believe it. Not that I don't have all of it on DVD already. It's just it's easier to access.
HD.
Well, it's not an HD on Netflix either. It's SD.
My life is a lie.
They've never remastered it, so there is no HD version of it. It doesn't exist yet. It's frustrating.
Japan.
There is an HD version of Teen Titans on Netflix right now. 1080p HD.
The show's canceled. Come back next week.
So Naruto, in the matter of 2 days, I managed to make it through the entire first arc. Whoops. Anyway, very quickly, just the emotions and my feelings and attachments to the series quickly overcame me. This is another one of my comfort shows. This is a show I'm very attached to. The first arc in particular covers a pretty heavy theme, and covers a pretty dark topic that serves to world build too for Naruto. So it's really well done. It's intense, it's emotional. The voice acting is bad, but it's good. I wouldn't say the voice acting is bad, but you can definitely see how much it's evolved since they started.
Right.
The fact that was great.
We're getting simul dubs and they're dub like bats an eye that it's good. It's like it's the exception to be like, oh, this is bad.
Oh, a Dream Drop, I may have confused it with Hulu. It was on Netflix in HD, but I think it's on Hulu right now. I could be wrong. But yeah, I love it. I think I've committed myself to at least rewatch all of part 1, which isn't a huge commitment in of itself.
Yeah.
It's like 120 episodes for part 1, give or take. So I'm really loving that. And yeah, Steve Bloom is also in Naruto. He plays Zabuza Momochi. Zabuza. So yeah.
Everybody loves Zabuza.
So I anticipate I'll just keep watching that, and maybe I'll drop off at some point, but right now I'm committed.
You should you should drop off real quick to catch up on Shokugeki no Soma.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it. That doesn't take the place of it.
Watch it.
It'll happen. But that's pretty much all I have to say. That's all I have to say for Naruto, for the most part. No Boruto this week. Rip.
Gone but never forgotten.
It wasn't forgotten because I actively looked for it and it wasn't out yet.
Fair enough.
What do you got, Paul?
So I watched Shokugeki no Soma.
And now you can't talk about it
later. Yeah, thanks. I mean, I've watched Fighting Foodons, so caught up on Fighting Foodons.
Oh no, I need to catch up with Fighting Foodon.
I mean, we have to have a conversation about that, and you need to be caught up. So.
Look forward to it in a few months. Fighting Foodons, the discussion here on Break Room Arcade about Fighting Foodons.
It might actually be a little sooner than that. We have to work it out, but I mean, the end of Shokugeki no Soma, I believe, is next Monday. Not next Monday, Monday.
Official end of season 3.
If it's 24 episodes, we're at 23 for the season.
Fighting Foodons, the anime.
It might be 26 for 13 and 13 for the half and half.
I thought it was 12.
Was it 12?
I thought so.
Oh, well, we'll have to check. I mean, we could just look it up on Wikipedia.
Yeah. But around that, I watched an episode of Black Clover. I missed the most recent one. They're still in the same place, still heating up, still Black Clover, still shouts a lot. I still watch it, so I guess I still enjoy it.
You sound a little hesitant about that.
They spend a lot of time in like the same place, so I haven't like there isn't a lot of momentum. It was easier when I was like binging it to be into it, but going week by week, it's just kind of I forget what happened last week.
Yeah, I mean, is there a lot of filler? Is it just a lot of like nonsense?
There was like one or two episodes like filler in between like two major arcs, and I want to say that one of them probably shouldn't be considered filler. I mean, if the current arc I'm on is filler, which I still can't say with absolute certainty, if it's not filler, then they introduced a character in a different filler arc, and so you do need that episode to understand that relationship between two of the characters. Well,
they did that a little bit in Naruto Shippuden, where they harkened back to filler arcs in canon material. So it could be. You never know.
I mean, even if it's filler, like it shows a character relationship that I've wanted to see like a little closer, and so it's still a cool arc. It's not as strong, I think, as the last arc, which is kind of where it's like, well, it's still a show.
It's a show.
Also, I'm the only person watching it, so it doesn't really do a lot of good to go too in depth with it. But
right.
So that's anime for this last 2 weeks. I think I'm losing my voice. Anyway, that brings us to video games. And I played and completed the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion. All 80 challenges.
Congratulations!
Yes.
How did it make you feel?
Great. I didn't think it was as hard as everyone else says, but it is definitely meant for a seasoned player.
Yeah.
Brian over there being good at Splatoon.
I'll just go ahead and mention I have played it. I haven't beaten it. So I've probably beaten like 7 or 8 challenges.
That's about where I'm at.
Yeah.
It turns out I'm not good at Splatoon.
It's going to be different for everyone, and other people. Everybody's going to get stuck on a different challenge.
Yeah, there's some of those challenges that I was like... but they do include accessibility options. So if you can't beat something but you want to progress anyway, they're pretty forgiving about it.
If you want to at least get your Octoling, that won't be very hard. Doing what I did was very challenging. In fact, there is a reward for completing all 80 challenges. And it was the most brutal thing I've ever done in a video game by far. They reward you by kicking your butt.
Alrighty. Sounds like I'm gonna have to play a little bit more Octo expansion. But how can I with all these new games that I bought at the Steam sale?
No.
Life is cruel.
Splatoon 2 Octo expansion short version review. Oh, how's the lore of the expansion? Fantastic. In fact, the actual story part of the Octo expansion was really good and actually exceeded my expectations. They did something in the story that I was like, oh, okay, we're going there. And we did. It was good.
So we went there.
This was the story mode that we were meant to get for Splatoon 2, and it is very obvious why we didn't get it, because they were not going to finish this in time. And introducing this as the main single-player mode and being this challenging would have not been a wise decision.
Yeah.
So that's Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion. If you are good at Splatoon, if you like Splatoon, and if you specifically like the single player in Splatoon, you will absolutely love the Octo Expansion.
What if you like Splatoon 2, but you're not good at it, and you want more story?
Give up!
Play it anyway. There's no penalty for running out of CQ points. In fact, they make a joke out of it that I think is pretty funny.
Okay.
Never
That
happened
makes
to
me
me.
feel better.
Humble
Oh, it
brag.
never happened to me. I'm Brandon, never ran out of CP points like ever.
Humble brag.
Miracle.
I guess we can all talk about this. We've been playing Fortnite. Whoops.
Kind of.
Well,
I like each of those nights that you guys played. I totally just couldn't because I was downloading.
Didn't you
a
play
game
with
on
Devin
very
once, or
slow
did that
internet.
never happen?
Yeah, I mean it'll happen.
So you
But
haven't
why
played
did
at all?
we get into
Wait.
Fortnite? How the heck did we get into Fortnite? I mean, I wouldn't say I'm into it, but
it came to the Nintendo Switch. That's what
came-
happened.
So have you not
I'm
played
just
it at
saying.
all?
I've played it a little bit. I've died a few times, but
That's the fun. I'd never anticipate actually like living. I just come to expect that I'm just gonna die every time, but
right.
it's trying to die further on.
Yeah, this game definitely evokes that feeling of, oh, just got to try one more time.
It's a nice gameplay loop. I like it.
It's like very condensed Rust. You know, it's Battle Royale, you collect resources and you build, but it takes place in 20 minutes and not forever.
Right.
There's also more of an end goal. I feel like Rust is like, well, they wiped the server. I guess we'll do it again.
Rust is just have fun.
Yeah.
This is definitely a very competitive scene. But we haven't won a game yet, at least not in duos or party. We've won in 50 versus 50, but I don't think that's much of an accomplishment.
I disagree. It's a 50-50 chance. Okay, and we overcame.
We won every single time, I think.
We're good. We're
Yeah,
good
I
at
like.
Fortnite confirmed.
I didn't think I would like Fortnite as much as I do. I'm probably not going to be super hardcore into it, but I'll probably pop in and play every once in a while.
That's how I feel about it.
It being free certainly helps.
It
Yeah.
might be something that we try and play with you guys. It just depends on how that works out. But there's a mode we gotta figure out, and hopefully that'll allow us to try testing our might against you guys.
Breakdown or Break Room Arcade Fortnite League Night. It'll happen.
Hopefully.
Dream Drop says he's down. But yeah, it's a very good game, and I wasn't expecting I would like it, but I
It
did.
was a very free good game. Good free game.
Speaking of Rust, we also played Rust, and I had a great time.
Oh yeah, our whole settlement is no more today.
We definitely need to play more.
We spent
And,
hours building it,
weekend
and
is
it's
upon us.
gone.
The weekend is upon us. So I hope that we can revisit that at some point.
Yeah,
in addition to
I
some
definitely
other
want to go
games.
back and reestablish our dominance in that server.
Right.
We were playing on a server of like 4 people.
That's how you do it, man.
And they looted the mess out of us.
Did they loot us?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought our place just came down because of decay.
it might have been a little bit of that, but like
And then
I
it
was,
also got
I was
bombed.
wearing clothes when I logged off yesterday, and I wasn't when I came back.
Oh, so they killed us. Unless we died in the fall, because that could happen too. Also, remember when I logged off, there was a helicopter blowing missiles at our structure, and it set it on fire.
Yeah, I was about to say our structure probably got totally screwed.
We were in the
Decay
only
and-
stone room in the house. Can't set that
Good
on
times.
fire, except you could the floor.
That's probably what got us.
Stability on the floor was like 25%, so yeah, we probably just died in the fall or the fire.
We probably needed a little bit more time to establish ourselves, and we were all kind of at that point.
We started pretty late too. But
Yeah.
that being said, I had a lot of fun with Rust. I still like it.
Rust it doesn't run well at times, but it's still fun.
It still feels like it's early access.
They definitely have some room to go with like optimization.
Yeah, but we're in full release
That's for
now.
sure.
The game is officially released, and it's a game now. So, if
it's
you
like
want to play
$8.
Rust with us sometime, that'd be fun too.
Yeah, we'll
I like
tweet
Rust.
out what server we're in, I guess.
Yeah, and we could play. It'd be fun. And that's really all I've been playing. I probably played more and forgot.
It's a good list.
There's so many
Did I
things
talk
in a
about
week.
beating Pokemon Sun?
No.
No,
I beat
You finally
Pokemon
beat it?
Sun. Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
Nice. Finally, I should do that.
You should too.
I did my battle with the champion. I had my Raichu with Volt Tackle. Was my only Pokemon left. And he only had one Pokemon left. It was Braviary, and it's a flying type, weak to lightning, thunder. So I was in this loop of him full restoring it, and my Pokemon revive loop that I was in. And ultimately, I finally got to a point where I could finish him off without, having to worry about reviving another Pokemon. But I used Volt Tackle, which does recoil damage to Raichu. I defeated Braviary, and it went down. And then my Raichu went down from the recoil damage. The game gave me the victory music. Or, not the music. It gave me the experience and the money. And then told me I blacked out and ran to a Pokemon Center. I won, and then I lost. So instead of seeing the rest of the game and the credits, the game just said, sorry, you suck, and you lose.
Try again.
And I did.
Doesn't
Actually, I rage closed my 3DS, and I came back a day later.
that's fair.
Sounds about right.
Fair.
I do want to go back to Pokemon Sun a little bit more and go to the battle tree, because I know there's some stuff with red and blue in there that I want to see, because I love red and blue, because I'm a Gen 1er,
Yeah.
full force.
Gen 1er.
The
you
thing
get
about Gen
Leomon?
1ers, man, well, you have to, I thought.
I just
The
wanted to
thing with
call Leomon.
millennials, man.
They don't give you a choice. I did get Tapu Koko. I wasted my Master Ball on Solgaleo and had to capture Tapu
Leomon.
Koko the hard way. It took me like 50 Pokeballs on Tapu Koko, but I finally got it.
50 Pokeballs.
And yeah, so I beat Pokemon Sun. That's my gaming.
game.
Congratulations, sir.
The only thing that I did different, I played more West of Loathing. I put, I think, another 2 or 3 hours in, and it started to open up. I was able to like go to different areas, kind of explore more before I move on. I was a little worried at the point I was at previously to go forward, because they always tell you can't go back. And so I don't know currently, like I think I can go to a train station, go to another town, but then I don't think I can go back to the section of map I'm at. There's a lot of points of interest that I can go and explore. And the thing I was missing from the last area, the thing I needed to complete it was lock pick or needles to pick locks. Guess where I found some needles?
Where'd you find them?
Right in the haystacks.
Right in the haystacks.
There are needles in all the haystack.
That's the yoke.
That's the yoke.
West of Loathing is hilarious. Like,
It sounds like it. It's something I definitely want at some point.
it's such a like a ridiculous and like I underestimated this game and just like what all it would be. And I still can't speak on like how long of a game it's gonna be, but I know like for certain right now, like it has replayability. Like
Yeah.
I want to go back when I get done with it and like play the other classes. Like right now I'm playing as a cowpuncher. I just love the names of them. But like there's a lot of different things you can try out and like different ways to experience the story. And so like it's a good game.
Looks
It's a
like
good game.
Dream Drop is in agreement on that. He says, dude, I freaking love West of Loathing 2. It's just genuinely hilarious and fun. And you need that every now and again.
Yeah.
Just brighten your day.
I encountered I think my first cow too.
Oh, now you're going to punch it.
I punched the mess out of it.
All right, Logan, I think that just leaves you, and you also only have one different game.
Yes and no.
We didn't talk about GTA 5.
Oh,
Yeah, we didn't talk. I started playing some of the It's nothing that I haven't played before, but now that I own a copy of GTA 5, purchased it. Thank you, Steam sales. But now that I have a copy of it and have something to play it on, I think it's about time I go through that story. Really excited for that, and also excited to play GTA Online with you gents here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, all three of us got it.
Yeah, outside of that, I've just been plugging on Fallout New Vegas. Nothing terribly fascinating has happened recently. I'm still just trotting the desert in my space suit. So you know what it is. Yeah, and that's about it for this week for games.
All right. So that pretty much does it for the Breakdown podcast this week. I'm going to direct you guys to a couple places real quick. Earlier in the week, I uploaded a brand new video. It's a look and review at the Legend of Zelda Encyclopedia, which is a sequel to my video unboxing and review of the Legend of Zelda Arts and Artifacts book. Had a lot of fun making that one. I love those books, so I was glad to add that to my collection. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it yet. We got a couple more Road to Smash videos coming out soon, now that we know a little bit more about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I'm going to be doing a video review of the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion, and I will probably also do a video review of Mario Tennis Aces, because I will be getting that game tomorrow. So just a couple things to let you guys know. And also, once again, if you have the ability, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That would be very beneficial to us. We're doing pretty good on the YouTube side, not so much on the download end.
We're getting there.
But we love you guys who are here during the live show, because that's awesome.
Yeah.
You love us. Or at least tolerate us. We love you.
We'll settle for tolerate.
Yeah. So yeah, make sure you do that. If you're new here and you like what we're doing, please subscribe, because we do this show weekly. We'll have 2 podcasts now. Nintendo Stuff Podcast next Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. All things Nintendo. And then the Breakdown Podcast will be up the following Monday or Tuesday, or live the following Monday or Tuesday. We'll let you know what we decide on for that. Yeah, do all the usual things. Follow us at our Twitter handles that are on the video version right now. I'm at Babs, Logan's at Logie Doves, and Paul's at Gunnysaurus. You can follow us as Collective, and Twitter at Brickroom Arcade. We're same on Facebook, pretty much anywhere. So definitely do that. We've gotten a lot of subscribers recently, and I want to say thank you to all of our new subs. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad to have you guys here. We're on that road to 1,000, boys and girls. So help us get to 1,000 subs. We're on the road to 500, but I'm shooting for the stars, boys.
For the stars,
We're on the road to a million.
We're on the road to a million.
We're hot right now. Keep up this momentum.
Momentum. So yeah, do all those things I said, please. Thanks. Thank you to Dream Drop for becoming a new patron. We are very, very happy, very, very thankful for that. If we make it to that 300 goal, that's an audio equipment refresh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if we make it to 500 a month after that, we're going to E3 next year. Yep. So lots of cool things on the horizon.
We're gonna make it happen. It's happening.
So once again, I want to thank you guys for all of that stuff. We'll see you next Friday on the Nintendo Stuff Podcast. My name is Brandon Miracle, joined by Logan Welliver and Paul Anderson. This has been the Breakdown Podcast, the last of its original form. So don't break your backs breaking the games, but for now, break time's over.